He's telling me it's just all this stuff coming out, like his side of dad's abuse, right? He's telling it to me with his own mouth. He's telling me this shit is weird with his own mouth. Yet when I come out and say, wow, I really feel like, based on what I witnessed and heard with my own ears, my own eyes, you weren't there to witness how he was abusing her while she was paralyzed, were you? You don't have that subsect of information that I do. So, yeah, afterwards, you put all that together. Okay, he's been verbally abusing her. It turned into physical, where there was an incident where he was supposed to be helping her onto the toilet, and then he dropped her off the toilet. Half my mom's half of her like body, I think it was like the right half, because she had two tumors. They were each on a hemisphere of her brain. One of them was pressing down on a nerve that controlled, like, it had paralyzed half of her body. So after her brain surgery, she was learning how to like use her hand again. I want to say it was her right side. She was right-handed. So she was learning how to use like her work up her strength, doing physical therapy, stuff like that. She was, well, supposed to be doing her own physical therapy exercises and stuff at home, as well as the therapist coming over. So that's the state that she was in, paralyzed on half of her body, right? And this man is taunting her about stinking, asking her when she's going to take, she's using a walker, y'all. Had to buy one of those shower seats. Not being, just being a disgusting demon ass person. And then I'm the one who has to sit there with the guilt. Wow. Why didn't I just get over my bullshit and help my mom more? Why was I so caught up in like trying to fix my relationship to create this big family? I was so caught up trying to get ready for our daughter. I was so bitter because all the times my mom ignored my dad doing crazy shit to me. All this stuff had piled up into me and my mom's relationship deteriorating for years by the time she got sick. So, after that, I believe it was after that incident, because y'all, I was walking down the hall as it happened. I'm walking down the hall, passing by the bathroom. The door was open. 1 second, he was helping her onto the toilet, right? The next, she was on the floor and he had disappeared. What? I backtracked. I'm like, Mom. I go into the bathroom. She's playing it off. She's like, I'm okay, I'm okay. And if y'all watch my video about the gun incident where I talk about how that transpired, it happened in the same house, so it's the same setup, right? If I'm here in the hallway, can nobody get past me and I don't know. You can't sneak past nobody in that hallway. The bathroom was connected to the master bedroom. There's a door right here. The hallway not that long. So I'm walking at a normal pace. I pass by the bathroom. I'm already passing by the master bedroom, my parents' room. Didn't see him in there. Then I backtrack to the bathroom. He's not in there either. So what? He was hiding in the little walkway of the door? Because there was the door, then there's this little area, and then it's their vanity, their dresser, and then, like, the closet, whatever. Y'all, remembering this day, y'all might have to make a separate video about this day. But it's going to be a separate video from what I was just talking about. But so I go in there. I'm like, Mom. I crouched down on the floor. Y'all, how pregnant was I? I was like, I was big enough. With my daughter, I feel like I was way bigger than this with my daughter. I was slightly bigger than this with my daughter. And it was around the same time frame, I believe. Like 5 months. 4 or 5 months. So needless to say, there was no way in hell I was going to be able to, upon my own pregnant ass strength, lift my mom up when half of her body was dead weight. But I was trying to, like, guide her, shift her to, like, just using my brain of ideas of how this would be easiest for her to get up. Like, just depend on the side of your body that still work to kind of get up. But she was too weak for that. So then of course my dad just like reappears, tries to come in. I'm like, get away from her. And then my mom's defending him. Like, it's not his fault. I just fell. I just slid off. I wasn't on. No. I know what I just saw. So now we're having to try to attempt to get my mom off the floor. Off the bathroom floor. Oh my God, y'all. This is just... So, right up front, after the bathtub was like, a regular classic traditional type of bathtub where it's like connected into the wall, like with the actual porcelain tub part where it's like a little bit off the ground or whatever. So at first we tried to like prop her up kind of like on that low ledge and then get her in her wheelchair or whatever, or her walker or whatever. That wasn't working. So then I proposed, I'm like, okay, it would probably be easier if you was on like carpet in the living room and then just use the couch. Why don't we just use the couch? My dad says no. He's fighting me on this. I'm thinking, okay, I really think it would be easiest to the lowest lying surface that she's successfully gotten up from and down from is the couches in the living room. He keeps coming up with other dumbass ideas, right? To the point where I was watching the clock, y'all. I don't know how many times I suggested maybe we should just get you in the living room. Like the carpet's not gonna move. Like the couch is low. I don't know how many times I suggested this, but I think at least 40 minutes had gone by that my mom was on the floor. As my dad was just taking every opportunity to sigh, huff, and puff, and, make a big deal, trying to, like, every situation he kept suggesting was just like a torture device, right? Where it was like some of them he's suggesting where he's going to have to lift my mom and then like make her feel bad about her weight. Or this really made me mad, y'all. So at first when she was using the bathroom, she didn't even have pants on, y'all. My mom was in a terrible state. Like she was just wearing a gown. I don't think she was able to get underwear on after a certain, I don't know. He wasn't taking fucking care of her, bro. He wasn't taking fucking care of neither of us. He would go to the store, come back with no groceries. He'd come back with fucking coffee or bacon for his breakfast, and just fucking asshole. I remember one night I called my husband, boyfriend at the time. I called him crying because I felt guilty because it was like the third time I was eating pizza that week because our dad was just letting the whole house go. So first attempt to get her up was just me. Second attempt was after I told him get away from her. He played this is when I started to notice this stuff for real. He played the whole, what is it? The whole, I guess you don't need me, like, oh, I'm useless. The whole pity party. When we're talking about his wife being naked from the waist down, half of her body is paralyzed, and she has fallen off the toilet and cannot get back up. He's playing pity party. When I tell him, get away from her because I just saw you drop her off the toilet. Okay? So this is the level that we're at on that. So then after that, he tried to get her up. Then we both like moved her over, tried the tub thing, that didn't work. Then he came up with that dumbass idea where just kept coming up with stupid ideas that was just going to prolong it. I remember when he was trying to do the lift thing into her wheelchair. I was just like, should we not just call the fire department? Like, and they was like, don't call anybody. Don't call anybody. I really wanted to call my brother on this one. I don't even remember if I ever told him that happened. I probably didn't because I knew it would make him a little bit too mad. My brother, you get mad, but you don't want to put all the pieces together. He can just fly off the handle so fast. He just like my dad. He just don't even fucking know it. No self-reflection ability at all. In his mid-30s now. It's too bad. Too bad. I feel bad for his daughter. Okay? I feel bad for his wife. But Yeah, at that point I was like, should we not just call the fire department? Because they got tools where you can, like, they know how to lift properly with her lift belt. They was like, no, 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 like trying to keep it a secret that she had fell on the floor. That he dropped her on the floor. So anyway, that's not working. At this point, I kind of like let it go because I'm like, I'm preggers, I'm big, I'm tired, and I'm just like kind of watching this unfold. I'm watching the nonsense, confused, suspicious, very suspicious of him, and confused now, and getting angry. So then eventually, I don't remember how, like, he slid her like down the hall to the stairs. Y'all heard me right. The staircase. My mom definitely had socks on because she was wearing like either the little hospital grippy socks or her little fuzzy socks or whatever. Did she have socks on? I don't know. I don't think so, actually. But yeah, he takes her, like, helps her drag her over to the stairs. And I'm just walking down the hall, following, standing there. I'm like, what? What are we gonna do here? So he actually tried to, when I tell y'all, this was probably like a low-key murder attempt. And you'd almost want to laugh, right? Because, like, what? First of all, the railing of the stairs, like, this was a traditionally set up house, a house from the 70s, right? The railing of these stairs is some thin ass railing, super rickety, okay? Not stable at all. Like, then the staircase itself, it's not carpet, there's no grip, it was just wood. She had just started being able to even like go down the stairs. Again, very recently to that. This was a horrible idea. So my dad is standing there like, it was just, oh my God, it was just, he had her trying to stand up while stand up, use him to stand up while he's holding on to that rickety ass railing on these stairs. Yeah, and again, half of her body's paralyzed. This, and then he's berating her as she's not doing it right, as she's not getting it, as she's not listening. She's not doing it right. So then I'm looking at the clock again. This is when I'm like, you realize it's been 40 minutes, right? Why is she still on the floor after 40 minutes? I'm like, why don't we just, she's already like right here. Why don't we just get her into the living room on the carpet? Have her on her good side. Use her good side to just slide up. You come and lift her other side and slide her up onto the couch. Finally, after almost an hour, probably actually an hour, closing in on an hour, he finally decides to listen to me. And within 3 seconds, my mom is sitting on the couch, which from the couch she can then lift herself with her walker thingy. It's one of those classic walkers, like with the wheels. Y'all. So if you think I don't know where the fuck this is going with my husband, and if my husband is stupid enough to think I don't know where he's going with this, Lord help them. Lord help him, please. Because that's so yeah, I believe this is the day where I was like, about to crack down in a business. I was like, all right, nope. I'm like, I asked my mom, aren't you supposed to be doing like exercises, these exercises? Look, growing up, anytime I was trying like defend my mom, she'd always be like in defense of my dad. Or it would be some kind of situation that she would be like, you guys are going to leave me one day, as in her kids. Your dad is all I have. But he wouldn't even help her take her hair down when it was time to get her hair redone. She would have to ask me. And then she would end up having to, because I was over it, she would bribe me with money to help her take her hair down. Like, have me come home from my husband's place, from hanging out with my husband, to take her hair down. That's how bad my dad would not help her do something that simple, right? When she wasn't even sick. So, yeah, I believe it was that day where I was like, all right, where's your physical therapy book? Like, aren't you supposed to be doing exercises? You not helping her with her exercises. So I guess I'm going to have to step in and do this on top of preparing for a fucking baby and dealing with all this bullshit with my boyfriend at the time, now husband. And then, he was on his pity party stuff. And my mom was falling for it extra. He was like, oh yeah, I guess I'm just failing, right? I'm just a failure as a husband. Yeah, you fucker, you are. Because you're supposed to be helping your wife. You're supposed to be motivating her. You're supposed to make sure she's taking her medications. You're supposed to be doing all this while she's telling me to stay out of it. But you love that, don't you? She's telling everybody else to stay out of it. So then you have full reign to harass her. So, yeah. I do think he conveniently. I just saw a YouTube short about this, y'all. It was an elderly couple. The lady, she was on bed rest. She had the nose hook up with the whatever. She was on bed rest, chronically ill. And the police have been called. It was a police body cam video. And the husband was taunting her in front of the police, saying that he was going to kill her. He has a gun in the house. He's going to kill her. The police was laughing it up. And the lady said, I guess they asked her, like, you gonna be okay here? She was like, no, like, are you guys gonna come back out if I call you? She ended up dead 2 hours later, y'all. 2 hours. I'm just saying that to tell you this is not some kind of fantastical thing that never happens in reality. No. These husbands, they get sick of taking care of their sick wives and they want them gone so they can get a new model. A younger, new model. You feel me? So, yeah. After my mom passed away, all of the weird circumstances, even down to my dad lying to my sister and saying that my mom had already passed away. I had to hear that my mom died twice. The first time my dad lied, and then the second time when it actually happened. So you just throw all of that into what we're dealing with now. How am I even still sitting here alive? How am I even still sitting here in the free world? I should be in jail, right? Because that's bro. All this stuff stacking up, I should have been lost it. I should have been lost my mind. But I'm still here. That's why all the demonic activity escalate. And I don't know what has gotten into my husband. Or his family. Or regardless. So that's just to tell y'all this stuff really happens. It's called elder abuse. It was to the point, y'all, where I had to look up adult services when he's taunting her about washing herself, saying that she stinks when this woman is paralyzed. I'm just, and I'm so angry at myself because I got so desensitized, I guess, to listening to him berate her while she wasn't sick. You're a slut. Why are you going out there with those shorts on in front of the neighbors? You're trying to bend over in front of the neighbors. You slut, fat ass, all this other stuff. So, needless to say, I have no idea. Nobody was there that day in that house when my mom, whatever happened, she was on cardiac arrest on the way already. This I find out later because my dad was lying on the phone. He wasn't telling me the truth as to why my mom was in the ER again. He said the ER, she was really in the ICU. So I'm putting all of this together. You're lying on the phone call, you're downplaying it. You're asking me if I want him to come pick me up and take me to the hospital. You knew my mom had cardiac arrested multiple times on the way there. She wasn't just in the ER. She was in the ICU on a ventilator with a tube down her throat. I found that phone call real suspicious. I found it really suspect. Even the tone of his voice, the calm tone of his voice. No panic whatsoever. And you telling me this man didn't do something to her? Stop the cap. But when I told my brother that, he tried to say, "Oh, you're acting like you're literally tried to say, pull." He pulled this one. We're really worried about you. Like, you're kind of showing signs. We're worried that you're going down the same path mom went down. Our mom had schizoaffective disorder, y'all. I lay out the facts in the exact timeline. I'm perfectly conscious. I remember everything that happened. I lay out the facts. His response is, "Oh, you're schizophrenic. We're worried about you." But then you add in the suspicious withholding, never telling me about my half of the life insurance money that our dad was just keeping in a bank account, fully aware of. His daughter and newborn granddaughter suffering. Hmm. But you already got your money? Hmm. Lying to Social Security? Yeah. My dad was on the phone with Social Security lying that he had a son who was 28, which was my husband's age at the time. Yep, no foul play involved. I was so pressed that while I was after I found out about the money, y'all, I was already in the shelter, but I was so fucking pressed that I tried to question I tried to see like the information about my mom's life insurance policy through whoever it was through. I contacted them. I tried to see if there was any weird ass changes made to her account in the past year or so or whatnot before she passed away. Couldn't get into that. I did receive her death certificate so I could see what the cause of death was. They said natural causes, of course, cancer, carcinoma. I don't fucking believe it. I don't believe it. I still don't believe it. That man did something to my mom. He set up a situation where it would look like it was natural causes because it was very easy to make it look that way. Except for the fact that my mom was on the up and up. But you know how people say that there's that like burst of energy that people get right before they pass away? Yeah. If you want your wife fucking eliminated and you see that she's on the up and up because she's actually healing, you're not a dumbass. You know that there is a chance that if she's on the up and up and she passes away, people are just going to be like, "Oh, that was the sign." I'm telling y'all. My dad worked for GE. Okay, he ain't no dumbass. Ain't no dumbass. Okay? He liked to play dumb. He liked to play stupid. These men are not stupid. But yeah, no foul play when we have hiding of money involved. Okay. You want me to believe that. When we have a life insurance policy involved, you want me to believe there was no foul play. When he's lying about when she passes away, her time of death, he's lying about it. What's going on? What's going on there? Then, I find out who he really is. Somebody who's been painting a narrative about me to my siblings for who knows how long. So when this time came, when I finally got my senses about me and started telling the truth, nobody would believe me. Just like how he was lying to my mother-in-law. Standing there at the door, just having a full-on chat. This is after my husband hid the gun in his home, my dad's home, right? After that is the first time he ever met my husband's mom and was having a full-on conversation chat. After I tell him she's not allowed to see the baby, she shouldn't be here, please ask her to leave. I think I'm gonna have to post them conversations. I specifically remember I recorded after that one because I was stunned. I recorded that conversation where I'm asking him, what could you have been talking to her about? And it was the second or third time that I told him that I didn't invite her over. She's not supposed to be over here. Stood out there and had a whole full-fledged conversation. And I asked him, what could you have been talking about for so long? Turns out he was telling her that I'm a liar. Not to believe anything that I say about him, that I may say about him or claim about him. Now my husband's trying to do this to me. So it's kind of like quadruple. What is that, like triple enforcement now? So my dad's already told your family that I'm a liar. My dad's already did that. Then your sister does it. After she finds out my dad has already painted me a liar. Now she's jumping on the train. Now I'm a liar. No. You're making my brother, your brother believe it. You're making my brother-in-law believe it now. Because you've let a whole outsider convince your brother that I'm lying. That you weren't there. Okay. Now you're trying to make claims that I would ever hurt my daughter. Yeah. Oh, I would hurt you for sure. I'd hurt you for sure. But you're trying to claim that I would hurt my daughter. And we're all helping paint a narrative where I'm a liar. Yeah. Also to the police. His sister lied to the police and probably claimed that I lied about the fact that, yeah, you and your mom came to retrieve his gun. Nobody told you to do that. You involved yourself in his crime. Now you're an accessory by hiding the weapon used in his crime. Congratulations. That's not my fucking problem. I have a baby to protect. I don't give a fuck about you. Not in this situation where you was kiki ha ha and watching me get cheated on, bitch. And somehow I'm supposed to defend any of you. Yeah. I don't care who it is. I'm not going to laugh at nobody. I don't care. Not to protect myself, but for my own conscience. I don't care who's asking me what. What happened is what happened, and I apologize if you involved yourself in that and thought that that was somehow gonna anything you could say was gonna pressure me to lie. No. So yeah. Yes, this is a family that lies to the police. Okay, that's what kind of like they have in their backgrounds, lying to the police, lying to police officials. Okay, I looked up everybody's background in his family at one point because I was so fucking paranoid. They all got a background except the youngest. Go figure. But I'm the liar. And because I won't go along with all their little crimes, I guess this is what they're coming up with to try and break me down or push me out. I don't need to be pushed out. I'm leaving, but I'm not leaving my daughter. But yeah, I don't know. That's how this works, y'all. The you your scapegoat, you have to, I don't know what, break the fourth wall to stop it from repeating. It's like as soon as you find out your family of origin has scapegoated you, as soon as you find out that is your blueprint, everybody around you at that very moment in time has to go. Nobody can come with you. Nobody. No one. Because when they watch you have the strength to break away from your own family of origin, they're really going to get scared. They're going to get scared. And that's where things start getting like this: questionable, dangerous, suspicious, very weird. Mm-mm. Very, very, very weird. Very weird. And if I hadn't already dealt with this with my dad, like, you feel me? That's not a human being. At one point, he was maybe just a human being, misguided, but eventually, he fully gave himself over. Okay, and that's what I seen that day. That's what I seen throughout escalating throughout my mom's illness. That's what I saw. I saw as the women in his household got more vulnerable, he got more, he didn't get more sympathetic or like soften up at all. He didn't change. And that's when I was like, something is drastically wrong here. Something's really not right here. Yeah, it's not a normal response. the women in your life are getting more and more vulnerable. Your wife is getting less and less mobile. She's losing like everything. And you're upping the ante with like pity parties and harassment and verbal abuse. Your daughter is pregnant. She's getting bigger and bigger, less and less mobile. And you're upping the ante. Then your wife passes away. This was another point. This was like the major point when I was like, okay, that's actually that's that's a sack. Like that's a sack of human meat. That's not in there. There's not a human being, right? I started to realize that after my mom passed away. His behavior after she passed away only got more and more and more like terrorizing, blatant lies. Just I I just it was like a vampire with blood. It was like the vulnerability, the isolation of it was like giving him energy. It was giving him energy. Like him finding out what my husband had done to me was giving him energy. Him finding out I was going to be a single mom, it was giving him vibe. It was giving him vibrancy, y'all. That all this was happening to me as I was grieving. It was giving him vitality. That's when I was like, wait a second. Then I became extremely paranoid of everybody around me, rightfully so. Um, and then when they say like when you leave your abuser, excuse me, and come back, it gets like 10 times worse. Well, I left my dad's home in January, like a week before I gave birth. And then when I ended up coming back in like late June, literally, I say to you, it was just like immediately. But by that time, I was recording. So that's when I started realizing how deeply insane that man was. Yeah. Yeah. But I do think I'm going to end up posting the recordings. Like, I'm hesitant. I don't want to listen to any of them again because I don't want to get triggered. And I don't want to have to listen to them back and be like, start convincing myself, maybe I overreacted or da-da-da. Well, the police didn't find anything anyway, so maybe I was just too paranoid at the time. I don't know. I don't know. Even before I had like moved back in, like the terrorizing began publicly. It was a public affair where everyone was this is recorded. Everyone was over the house. And then this is when I get him on recording saying, He hopes me and the baby decide to come stay with him again because he's lonely in the house without my mom, and he would love to have like a baby screaming and laughing in the house and all this "I miss you, daughter" bullshit. But then you go and tell my mother-in-law that you didn't even want me to come back over and you don't know why I came back over. But anyway, all of the taunting started that night during that visit where he's trying to bait me into an explosion in front of everybody by asking me about my niece's lunchbox. He was asking me, was my niece's lunchbox mine? A little girl's, I think it was like Dora. So yeah, he was asking me, was it mine? Mind you, y'all gotta understand, this is the first time I had set foot in the house in months. And he was asking me like questions like, does this go in the dishwasher? Is this yours? When that weekend, my sister and her niece were staying over. So he basically this man was playing like he had dementia. That's nothing to play about. So I hope he gets struck down for that. Kind of like trying to mimic what he think. I'm sure he looked it up. Sure he looked it up to try and like legitimately mimic the symptoms. Even then, I went on freaking Chat GPT and I was like, are these symptoms of dementia or, mental decline? Is this how it shows up in people? Chat's like, unfortunately, no. This man is a little bit too aware and the situations are a little bit too targeted. It's not all around the board. So I'm like, all right. But my brother believed it. It made every excuse in the book just fantastic. How does this benefit you? But yeah, he was basically asking me questions as though I was there the whole time. I hadn't even moved back in yet or decided to move back in yet when he started asking me these questions in front of everybody. Trying to bait me into a conversation or whatever. And my sister was at the table noticing this going on. I was ignoring him because I'm just like, but he kept calling my name. I'm telling you, it's a fucking demon. He kept calling my name. Then if you keep calling my name and I ignore you, then it's like obvious to everybody that I'm ignoring you. Then it makes me look like I'm ignoring you for no reason. So he bothers me about it once. I'm like, no. I don't know. I'm giving the gray rock type answers. Then eventually my sister, he asks me more questions. He won't stop asking me about it. Then my sister steps in. My sister had to step in twice and be like, Dad, that's her daughter's name. That's her lunchbox. Like, it just appeared this weekend when they got there. So why are you asking me about it? This is my first time setting foot in the house for 6 months. That's the type of playing around that he do. Mind y'all, I had just gone through all the bullshit with my sister-in-law. My dad tried to call that drama and try to paint it to my sister as drama. Just like my husband just did yesterday, drama. I love drama. I'm not gonna lie to you, I want them wiped off the face of the earth. I want them done, okay? You played with my life, you played with my grief, you played with my mom, you played with my daughter, you playing with my safety, you playing with my life, you playing with my daughter's life. And yet you somehow get to have all your kids and your other grandchildren all converged in your living room. Somehow you get that right. After all that you've done to all of them. Y'all, this is not a situation where, oh, he singled me out and treated me terribly while he treated everybody else better. So it really makes it look like, oh, there's no way he's like that. This is not one of those situations. This is like, you're a terrible person and father all around the board. You're a terrible husband. You were a terrible husband. You're a terrible father to all 4 of your children. You're a terrible grandfather. You're a horrible person. Everybody, each one of us siblings has a terrible, disturbing story. I don't even know the full stories. All you have to hear, it's so bad that you just have to hear one incident. Just one incident from each of us. And you can compile all of that and come to the conclusion, wow, that's a horrible, terrible father and he is fucked up in the head. That's how bad it is. Yet I'm a liar. Everybody knows what they've been through with him, but I'm a liar. I don't know how it benefits them. I'm the youngest, so I should be the one who's delusional, right? I should be the one holding on to, no, daddy still loves us. Daddy loves us. You guys are pathetic. And then for my brother to send me a picture of it, fuck you. And that's why you're blocked. You're goofy. That man don't pay none of your bills. He don't do nothing for you. He don't provide emotional support. He's never been there for any of us. Yet you've let him believe that I'm his favorite for all these years. Okay, well then, why would he hold me up with a gun if I'm his favorite? So are y'all human beings? Are you human? Or are y'all also demons, like complicit in it? Because I don't know. You can't update your information system when you get new information. Oh my gosh. He is moving in a crazy way. Sometimes, I mean, I've heard worse. All them true crime stories, I have heard so much worse that people have done to their children and people have done to their family members and such and so on. So it's like, what world are you living in that what I'm saying is a shock to you? Or do you just think, oh, it can't be, like it can't be happening in our family? No. Everybody's family is susceptible to stuff like this. And if you can't update your brain, stay awake, okay? Stay awake. You need to look at your family. You need to look around you, because every statistic, that's an actual person out there. So you need to stay aware. Are you that person? You need to be careful. Are you becoming a statistic? Are you witnessing a statistic? They want you to feel like those are just numbers. Those are actual people. Those are people. So don't be one of them.